welcome to the Narrowing Path, walking the spiritual walk. My name is Steve Van Einstein. Thank y'all for joining me again today as we do September 15th reading for James Allen's Daily Meditations. I'm looking forward to this one. We're halfway through September. I know where I'm getting ahead of myself. This is going to make some people shudder a little bit, but we're coming up on the end of the year much faster than I realize sometimes. This year's flown by, and especially having this commitment of doing this every day for a year, and having hopefully growing it towards the end of this and adding some different types of content. I might be doing a YouTube channel with some different things. We'll see how it goes, and seeing if we decide to make another daily reading with a different author next year. See how it goes, but it's been such a journey, such a roller coaster. I'm looking forward to today's. So this will be fresh to you and fresh to me, meaning that this will be the first time that I hear it or read it right here on this podcast with you. So you'll get my genuine response, reactions, observations, and what I relate to about the reading. So here we go. This is September 15th reading of James Allen's Daily Meditations. He who has not learned how to be gentle, loving, and happy has learned very little. Despondency, irritability, anxiety, complaining, condemning, and grumbling. These are all thought cankers, mind diseases. They are indications of a wrong mental condition, and those who suffer there from would do those who suffer therefrom would do well to remedy their thinking and conduct. It is true there is much sin and misery in the world, so that all our love and compassion are needed. But our misery is not needed. There is already too much of that. No, it is our cheerfulness and our happiness that are needed. For there is too little of that. We can give nothing better to the world than beauty of life and character. Without this, all other things are vain. This is preeminently excellent. It is enduring, real, and not to be overthrown, and it includes all joy and blessedness. A man's surroundings are never against him. They are there to aid him. I love the way that opened up. I really do. It's such a beautiful way for... It's so true, right? There's many things to learn in this world, but those are some of the most important things to learn how to be and how to do. And I really enjoy these types of meditations because it kind of gives us the contrast. We should be this, but if we're like this, we have work to do type of situation. Like these things are problems. So let's go through this again. He who has not learned how to be gentle, loving, and happy has learned very little. I agree, because if you haven't learned how to do that, you haven't learned how to be selfless. You're still stuck in a state of selfishness, self-centeredness, a self-serving nature. If you have to learn how to be gentle, loving, and happy, is to learn how to be other-centered, how to be God-centered. So you haven't really learned too much if you're still not able to be those things genuinely too, right? Let's say genuinely. Gentle, loving, and happy, not just a forced presentation, but an understanding of where they originate from, understanding of why, and doing it for the right reasons. So that opening line's really quite profound to me. Now, the main body: despondency, irritability, anxiety, complaining, condemning, and grumbling. All these are thought cankers, mind diseases. Let's take a look at that real quick. I believe I know what despondency means, but let me just make sure. Okay. A state of low spirits caused by loss of hope or courage. Yeah, just a kind of a hopeless state. Despondent. Despondency, irritability, anxiety, complaining, condemning, and grumbling. These are all thought cankers. These indicate you still have more work to do because it's still a selfish state of mind. So you're still not able to be present in the moment. These are the opposites to the loving, happily, and gentle that we were talking about, right? These are selfish, self-serving frustrations, anger. I like how he calls them mind diseases because they are a sickness of the mind. It's a spiritual sickness that these um, are symptoms of. We know all about that in the 12-step community. These show up as a sign of living a self-serving life, destroying yourself in the process. He says here they are indications of a wrong mental condition, right? That's what I was just talking about. Selfish, self-centered, self-serving. And those who suffer therefrom would do well to remedy their thinking and conduct. Like he's saying pretty frankly, like if you have this, it'd be good for you to like not. And it's almost funny, but of course, well, some people, well, to be fair, most people enjoy having those character defects because our character defects suit us for some reason or another, right? They serve us in some way. But those who suffer therefrom would do well to remedy their thinking and conduct. Let these things go, do the work to change, to be able to be gentle and loving and happy. It's easy to be miserable. It's the fact of the matter. It takes work to think. It takes work to change our perspective. It takes work to be other centered. It takes willingness, it takes honesty, it takes open mindedness. This is not easy stuff, but you should address it promptly. I agree with that. It is true there is much sin and misery in the world. There is. I mean, that still proves true today about 110 110 years later. There's much sin and misery in the world, so that all our love and compassion are needed. A lot of people, I mean, this is kind of speaking to like the mob mentality understanding, right? Everyone else is like this. I guess this is how we're supposed to be, which we've learned many times over that if that's the justification for it, it's usually good to question it. But living in a world where sin and misery is so common, the love and compassion is what's needed the most. That is the shining light in the darkness of self and self centeredness. Love and compassion. Our misery is not needed. We don't need to add to this boiling vat of sin and ignorance. What we need to add is our love and our compassion, our joy, our happiness, our peace, our serenity, our contentment with a life well lived. Misery is not needed. There is already too much of that. Absolutely. Absolutely. No, it is our cheerfulness and our happiness that are needed, for there is too little of that. Yes, joy. Joy is in such short supply these days. It's amazing. Genuine joy too. We're not talking about manufactured joy or pleasure or um, false sense of accomplishments. Right? Joy is only it can only be a spontaneous occurrence and can only be allowed or it can only manifest when someone is living rightly. If you'd like joy in your life, live a spiritual way of life. Live a spiritually principled life. And eventually you'll find more joy than you ever thought possible. It's incredible. We can give nothing better to the world than beauty of life and character, right? Strength of character can be such a wonderful gift to give to this world. To be somebody that has shouldered the responsibility and taken on the yoke of discipline to practice a spiritual way of living is a beautiful gift to the world. It fits you rightly to contribute positively to the world and grow this world. Beauty of life and character. Without this, all other things are vain, just done in self serving ways. Absolutely. This is preeminently excellent. I want to look that up real quick. No, it seems like I should know that one, but um, preeminent, surpassing all others, very distinguished in some way. So this is beauty of life and character is above all else excellent. What a cool statement that is. Beauty of life and character is above all else the most excellent. It is enduring, real, and not to be overthrown. This is when we align ourselves with that spiritual life, we tap into and align with that eternal power, that infinity that's always been, will be, and is here right now. It is enduring, real, and not to be overthrown. It includes all joy and blessedness. Right there. Joy and blessedness can only be obtained and experienced through living rightly. That is the only way. Manufactured joy is not joy. Pleasure is not joy. Excitement is not joy. We confuse these things for joy, but it is not joy. When you experience joy for the first time, true and honest joy, it's a powerful, powerful thing. So, this ends with this: a man's surroundings are never against him, they are there to aid him. What a powerful statement that is, because a lot of us looked at least I'll use myself an example, I guess. I looked at my own situation and circumstance as that I was the victim of it, right? This man's surroundings are never against him. I thought I was subjected to my surroundings in the sense, I was the victim of my surroundings. I just was dealt a terrible hand, and the world disliked me, and blah blah blah, and this, that, the other, and resulted in a mindset of self pity and self hatred. I never thought they were there to aid me. And when someone told me life doesn't happen to you, it happens for you, my perspective started to change. Thank God. Thank God. Because it was all when I started to take accountability for where I was and what was going on. And when I take that accountability, I can look at the world and see opportunity in it instead of seeing as it something I need to fight and battle. You know, that's where the problems come in a lot of times for me is I try to fight things that I can't fight. I don't like reality. So I'll try to fight reality for a while until it sets in and I realize that fighting reality doesn't make reality change. It just makes me not deal with reality sooner. But the sooner I deal with reality, the sooner I get to the other side of a situation that I'd rather not be a part of. But if I can look at that and say this is a growth situation or this is happening for me, then, you know, everything goes pretty simple after that. Well, it goes a lot smoother, I'll say that. Simple might not be the right word there. Pretty, pretty amazing. So, all right. Well, there we go. That wraps up September 15th. Incredible day to read and just take a look at and apply and do a little quick inventory over my own personal um, behaviors and mishaps too. Right. So, thank you all so much for joining me. I'm always grateful for those who jump on and listen. And I hope everyone out there is doing well and enjoying these. So, I will be back again tomorrow and we'll see you next time. So, until next time, thanks.